Yeah. Hello, beautiful family. I'm here again with another video. I'm here on my live. If you're just joining, you're welcome. So, in today's live, I want to talk about a very important issue that is the bedeviling the society today. And that issue is the issue of addiction. And this thing is affecting a lot of youth. Many youth out there are suffering from one form of addiction or the other, and they don't have anybody. There's no one absolutely to confide in them. So it's making it very unbearable and very hard for them to quit. I'm talking from a place of experience because at least I've suffered some forms of addiction in my life. But one form of addiction that I want to talk about today is the addiction to pornography. I was a young boy, I had friends. So growing up, most of my friends were very older people. Some of them were 5 years older, some of them were 10 years older than me. Yes, those were the kind of people I had as friends. And when you have those kind of people as your friends, they are more exposed than you, they have more experience than you, and when it comes to exposure generally in life, they know so much about life. So I think that's one of the reasons why I was exposed too early to pornography. So at first it started like a joke. It seems very harmless, like it's nothing. But when I came to realize that this thing is eating me up, and when I realized that it was an addiction, it was when I tried to quit and I couldn't quit. That was when I realized that, man, this thing is really eating me up. That this thing is keeping me in bondage, it's keeping me in captivity. And the funny thing is I couldn't, open up to anybody about it because I was very secretive with it. I never wanted my parents to know. I never wanted my friends to know. I never wanted anybody around me to know. For the fact that my father was a pastor. And in Nigeria, if your father is a pastor, they are being held in very high esteem. And people look up to my father. So how can I then be a pastor's child, bring this kind of disgrace to my own family? So that was when I realized that I just said to myself, I'll just keep hoping that one day I'll quit. But I kept going back to pornography every now and then. I became very isolated. I never wanted to go for any social gathering. It affected my relationship. Several beautiful relationships I've ruined because of pornography. And then I began to ask myself, will this be the end of my life? Is this how I will continue? Random content, hello, hi. So I said to myself, I needed to quit pornography because I was moving in cycle. There was no way I could achieve something tangible with my life with addiction. So I decided to try many ways. Sometimes I just quit for a day or two, and before I know it, I'm still back to it again. Sometimes I'll quit for a week or a month, and then I'll still relapse. This relapse keeps happening. It keeps happening over and over and over again. Until one day I decided to open up to an elderly person. And so when I opened up to that elderly person, he encourages me. He was giving me wise counsel. So it was through that I realized that you need to have people to help you in this journey. Because addiction is not something you started in a day. It was something, it develops over time. You kept repeating it over and over and over again until it until it becomes a habit that you can no longer, lose. So that's why my advice to young people is, if you have not started watching pornography, please don't go into it. If you have not started watching pornography, for your own sake, for the good of your future, for the good of your children, please don't start. Because I'm talking out of experience. This thing has almost ruined my life. This thing has almost, it made me to almost become suicidal at some point. Because at the point I was holding my phone, watching porn and crying, because I knew that this was not how I wanted my life to end. Because I knew that this is not what I see about my life. Because I knew that my future doesn't look like what I'm doing right now. But how comes I became so, helpless that I could not even quit? Because at the beginning I thought it was just a simple addiction, until I realized that when I wanted to quit, I'd become a prisoner of that addiction. And so my advice to you all, the young men out there, is, if you have not started watching porn, please don't do it. Please do not go near pornography. It has destroyed many. The porn industry is after your soul. The porn industry is out there to make you weak. The porn industry is out there to keep you in that position, to keep you stagnated. The porn industry is out there to destroy your soul. It saps your energy. After every, what do I call it? Every time you release after watching pornography, all your energy is gone. You no longer have the energy, you no longer have the strength to do anything. You no longer have the strength to pursue your vision. You no longer have the strength to go after your God's given talent. You no longer have the strength to explore your potentials, because you have been kept in bondage. So my fellow youth, especially in Nigeria, please, I'm begging you, this is a message to all the youth out there. I'm not talking from a theoretical point of view. I'm talking from a practical point of view, because I've been addicted to pornography for nothing less than 5 years. Yes, if not more. So I know how very harmful it can be. I know how it can, make you lose opportunities. I know the number of opportunities I've lost because of pornography. I know the number of relationships, beautiful, very beautiful relationships I've lost because of pornography. I know the number of, times I was given opportunity to go and make myself better. But because I was so weak, but because pornography addiction erodes my confidence. So I felt I was useless. I felt I couldn't do it. There's a power in you, which is the sexual energy you have. And there's this book I read that helped me to realize how to transmute my energy. That sexual energy, the only way we've learned to to express it is through intercourse. But there are different ways you can transmute your energy. And that concept was gotten from the book Think and Grow Rich. That book, transformed the way I look at sexual energy. It shows me that my sexual energy can be transmuted into something good. I can use that to start a musical career. I can use that to write a book. I can use that to, explore every possible potential within me. So when I realized the concept of sexual transmutation, that was when I realized that it was not just about sexual intercourse alone, but it's about what? Me transferring or redirecting that energy into something productive. Redirecting that energy into something that will yield positive result, and not just about, physical intimacy. So when I realized that truth about transmutation, that was when my life changed. That was when my life changed, because I realized that I could do more with my sexual energy than just waste it on watching pornography. And that was when I started going into music. I started learning music. I started, you know, going into other things I feel I could do. I started learning the guitar. I started writing books. I started journaling. I started doing a lot of things. So these are the things that I use to replace my porn addiction. Fresh Cut, I see your comment. How are you doing? Where are you watching me from? Fresh Cut. I hope I pronounced that name well. Please let me know in the comment if I pronounce the name well. Fresh Cut underscore cut. Thank you. So this is my advice to every youth out there. If you are a strong man, just know that the porn industry is after your soul. The porn industry. Have you ever asked yourself why pornography is easily accessible? Have you ever asked yourself why things that are provided for cheap dopamine are always very, very accessible? Things like the porn, the lotto house, they are everywhere. Because they know that these are the things that keeps you weak. They know that these are the things that will ruin your life. They know that these are the things that will keep you in captivity, will keep you in bondage. Pornography has eroded my confidence in the past because I couldn't even stand to speak to people. I couldn't sustain a relationship for so long because I have a replacement for it. I was more intimate with my phone than I was with people. I was more intimate with, that fantasy I have on my head. I was more intimate with my phone. I was more intimate with the internet. Every time I go out there, I don't even care about building relationship. Why? Because pornography has taken that place. I don't even care about doing something meaningful in my life because pornography has taken that place. So what are some of the ways that people get themselves addicted into it? Number one, you have to make sure that you observe your association. Who you associate with matters a lot. This is one of the very areas you have to deal with. Make sure you change your cycle of friends. Make sure you change your cycle of friends because the people you associate with, they have a way of affecting your life. There's a quote that is popular on the internet that says, "Who you become in the next 5 years is directly related to the kind of books you read, the messages you listen to, and the people you hang around with." So hanging around the wrong people who support pornography addiction, who enjoy watching pornography, will definitely affect you. There's no way you hang around the wrong people for a very long time and then you will not eventually get burned by their own action. Okay, Creeper Craft. Thank you for stopping by, Creeper Craft. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you find this message very helpful. If you find it helpful, give it a like. It's free, guys. The like button are free, guys. Thank you for stopping by. So, as I was saying, your relationship, who you surround yourself with, matters a lot. You have to be very careful of the kind of friends, because I was walking around with the wrong people who had no vision, people whose only aim in life is to seek for instant gratification, immediate pleasure. People who don't think long term, people who are always after immediate gratification. You need to cut those people off. At some point, it became very tough for me because I thought it was going to be a lonely journey. It was going to be, it's going to be hard for me. I started asking myself, who am I going to hang around with again? If I lose these friends I have now, who am I going to hang around with again? So I knew that fear will be in every one of you. That fear has been in me. That if I leave these people that support this addiction, if I leave these people that I've been hanging around with for so long, that we've been, we've known each other, who will I go and start friendship with again? But then I realized that it was all for my own good. At first, it wasn't easy. I felt very lonely. I felt like, the world was literally falling on my shoulders. But when I found purpose, when I discovered that God has a bigger plan for me. When I discover that, I can do more even when I'm alone. When I discover that I don't need those friendships, I don't need those validations from friends to be who I am. That was when I mustered the courage to let go of those friends. That's when I mustered the courage to say no to any negative influence. And I'm telling you, right from that time, my life has always been very peaceful. My life has a right direction because I've let go of the wrong people. And one thing about letting go of the wrong people is that you will definitely meet the right people. Yes. Because when the wrong people you're living in your life will pave way for the right people to come in. But whenever you just feel like, oh, if I leave these people, where am I going to? I'm going to feel lonely. No, you're not going to feel lonely. Yes, it might feel like you are lonely in the beginning because that's when you're beginning to retrace your step. That's when you're finding yourself. But let me tell you, when you keep going, you keep going, just keep going, you find the right people. When I started discovering who I really am, I came to realize that the right people were just waiting for me. The right people has always been there, but I've just been hanging out with the wrong people. So you need to deal with your association. Ask yourself, write a list. Who are my friends? Who am I associating with? Are they adding value to my life? Are they being of importance? Are my values in alignment with theirs? If you cannot answer these questions in the affirmative, then I advise you that you have a rethink. Then I advise you that you go back and check the list of those friends you're hanging around with. You check them out and begin to question and you begin to audit and know who to let go of and who to stay with. And this is not about hating your friends because you are doing it for your own good. When you keep hanging around with those people that support the addiction you are into, they are going to encourage you to keep at it. They are never going to give you the courage to live. Have you ever found somebody who is, maybe let's say an addict to a certain habit, and then those friends who are in the same circle with telling him to go? No, they will never encourage you to leave. In fact, they will give you more reason to stay. They will tell you, no, it's not harmful. They will tell you, no, this is enjoyment. They will give you every reason to stay. So if you have those kind of friends, you need to delete them out of your life immediately for your own good, for your own mental peace. You need to let go of such friends. And number 2 is the environment you find yourself in. What kind of environment are you living in? First, we begin with the mental environment. That's why you need to be careful of the things you allow to enter your mind. Because once your mind is captured, then every other of your life is captured. No wonder the Bible says, guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it flows the issues of life. You need to guard your mind. You need to safeguard the life of your children. Make sure that your children are watching good content. In this case, my parents did their best for me. I won't lie. Because my parents ensured that we watch things that were, they were children's friendly. In fact, before we watch a movie in our house, my parents will have to audit that movie and make sure there's not any nudity in the video. They'll make sure that it is very sane, that it's very clean. My parents will make sure that they scrutinize the movies we watch before they were allowed to watch anything on screen. So as a parent, you must make sure that you guide what your children watch on screen, please. Especially if they are teenagers. You can set boundaries for them when to use their phone. Make sure they are using it when you are around. Because the world we are living in these days, access to pornography is very easy. It's easily accessible. So you must put in the work. In fact, you need to. That's why it's not easy to be a parent in this generation. It's not easy to be a parent. It's not just about providing school fees for your children. You have to be there emotionally for them. You have to make sure that they are being fed with the right information. You have to make sure that your children are exposed to very clean content that will not corrupt their mind. And even you too as an adult. Because once you listen to something over and over and over again, before you know it, it becomes a habit. Yes, that's the power of the mental programming. So my parents did their best for me because I was exposed to pornography not at home. Because in our home, you dare not watch a movie that has any sexual scene in it. You dare not watch a movie that promotes immorality. Like I told you before, my parents were pastors. So you imagine that. In fact, the only thing we watch in our family then were gospel music. Gospel music and probably the news, that's all. So my addiction was outside the home. So I met with friends whose parents couldn't control what they were watching. So they were just allowed to do anything. And so when I came across those friends, that was how I got addicted to it. So you must also ensure that you guard the mental health of your children. Make sure your children are watching the right thing. Make sure you are programming your children to watch the right thing. Because that's one of the basic, but that's the foundation for every addiction. It begins with a suggestion in your mind. It begins with a suggestion in your mind, either through music, through movie, through a message, through graphics. Like during my time, it was, the internet was not that popular during my time. So it was, the discs we were using. So we saw all porn, discs all around, and then we pick some of them, and then we just be looking at it and be fantasizing. You get? But right now we have the internet. Young children are given access to the internet. The internet is easily accessible. You can just go to the internet right now and search for anything you want to search. And unfortunately, there's not much regulation on the internet. That's why even the young children will easily get addicted to it. That's why more people are falling into the traps of porn addiction. And many people are just going through it silently. They have nobody to speak to. They have no counselor. They have no one to open up about that addiction. It was something I went through because I've never wanted my parents to know, because I felt that would be a disgrace to their ministry as pastors. I felt maybe I failed them as a child, But with time, I had to muster the courage to say it. And that was where my freedom came from. You must be able to muster the courage to say, this is what I'm going through. You must be able to find an accountability partner that will hold your hand. Because do not deceive yourself that you can go through this thing alone. That was one thing I told myself. I said I was going to defeat this thing alone. I don't need anybody. I can do it on my own. How can I tell somebody that this is what I'm going through? So I realized I had to tell somebody. So I met an elderly person in our church then. And then I opened up and I told him, this is what I'm going through. And I've been looking for somebody to tell my story. But I couldn't find, but I felt I trusted him enough to tell him. And to be honest with you, at that point, I felt some relief inside of me. I felt like a burden has been, brought down upon myself. Because finding somebody to talk to brought a lot of relief. And I felt that was the beginning of my healing. Yes. So if you really want to truly be delivered from this porn addiction, please find somebody to talk to. Find somebody you can trust, you can confide in. Find somebody you feel, you can share your burden without him exposing you out. Yes. Because there are some people I told them about my story and they went ahead and made the situation worse by, gossiping about it, by telling other people about it. Oh, that this is what we never knew, that this guy is like this. We never knew that this guy would do these things like this. And so I realized that After that encounter, I felt maybe I shouldn't tell anybody about this thing again. Maybe I should just bear my cross. I should just suffer the consequences. Because if I keep telling people, and instead of them to help me in prayers or even refer some therapists to me, if all they do is gossip, then I think I should just leave that. I don't need to tell anybody. But then when I mustered the courage to tell that elderly person in our church, we kept praying. Anytime I relapse, I have to go back and tell him that I've gone back to it again. He will still encourage me to keep fighting. He will keep telling me it's a battle I need to fight and I need to win. I must win. Because I have a future to protect. Because I have an assignment that God has given me to fulfill on earth. So if I don't fight hard to see that I win this battle over pornography addiction, how am I going to fulfill my dreams? So if you're just joining now, you're welcome. This is a very serious topic we are discussing about pornography addiction. If you're just joining in, you're welcome. And if you find value in this video, please give it a thumbs up, give it a like. The likes button are free, guys. This is the only way you can support me. And you can share this video to your loved ones, to your friends who might be suffering with this form of addiction. My name is Simon Simji. I didn't introduce myself from the beginning. I'm from Nigeria. Yes, I'm from Nigeria in Africa. And the reason why I started this channel was to give hope to the people out there. So at some point, I discovered that I needed to go for therapy. But then accessing therapy in Nigeria is quite expensive. And then I had no work. So how am I going to pay the therapist? So it was quite, a big challenge for me. But then I discovered that through exercises and the right diet, somebody suggested me I should try proper dieting and exercising. And that's what has been a game changer for me in this journey. I realized that when I started exercising, I started feeling better about myself. When I started exercising, I started, my energy level went up over the roof. When I started exercising, my confidence was restored. When I started exercising, I could stand boldly before people because my self-image has been restored. So instead of going for therapy, but if you have the money to go for therapy, I would advise that you go for therapy. But if you don't have money for therapy, what I advise you to do is just create your own local gym at home. Start working out, start exercising, start moving. Any form of exercise that you find useful, start doing it. You don't need expensive gym. So exercise, I would say, literally saved me from porn addiction. Yes, I can boldly say that because I felt better. I felt, my energy level went up. My self-image was restored because at that point I was also a very skinny guy. So I was having low self-esteem. I was not having confidence in myself. I was not, I never believed that I could speak before people. In fact, I would never thought that a day will come like this where I will be on camera and speak to people. I never knew. If you told me this thing, let's say 5 years ago, I would tell you it's a lie. Because my confidence then was completely eroded. I couldn't even stand physically before people and talk. How much more of standing in front of a camera, talking to millions of people out there who might be listening to me. So when I started exercising, my confidence came back and I could boldly stand and talk to people. My relationship got better because I was not substituting my relationship with porn addiction. I began to enjoy my relationship. I began to, enjoy going out for social events because I've replaced those habits with my addiction. So when you realize that you are getting addicted, you need to find a replacement. Because when you just leave the addiction and you feel, I'm done, you need to replace it. You can't leave that place empty. Because one thing I've discovered with addiction is that there's a search for something meaningful. There's a search to feel an emptiness within you. There's a search to find fulfillment. So pornography tends to, give you that sense of fulfillment, but it's quite temporarily. And the effect and the damaging effect of it is very, very terrifying. You feel, you've released and you're feeling better, but then your life keep getting worse. Your life keep getting worse day by day. So you need to replace that habit with something productive. That was why I started exercising. But sometimes I exercise throughout the night. That was when I get mostly I'm most likely going to watch porn. So I have to exercise at night when everybody is sleeping. That was how ridiculous it was. So I know the challenges a lot of you are passing through. Many of you that are passing through these things. But most of them don't have the courage to come out and say, this is what I'm going through. But if you know that you're going through these things, please speak out to somebody. Speak out to somebody you trust. It might not even be your parents. It might just be somebody you trust in your local assembly, in your church, in your environment. Just look for somebody you can talk to and you feel your information will be safe with him. Because we are living in a world where many people are finding fault in people. So when somebody is speaking out, they begin to, distribute the information to make themselves feel better. But right now, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid whether people say I'm a bad person or anything. Because this is something I've owned it. Today, I've owned my shame. I'm not ashamed to say that I was addicted. Because I knew that I was safe through the testimony of other people. I've watched other people share their story and how they escaped pornography and how they recovered from pornography. So I said to myself, if these people have the courage to come out and say this is what they have been through, why don't I come out too and share my own story with other people? Why don't I come out too and tell people that this is what I'm going through? So if you find this video helpful, if you find this interaction very helpful, give it a like. The likes button are free, guys. If you have any question too, you want to ask me, feel free to ask me. If you have any question, if you have any suggestion too, suggestions are welcome, questions are welcome. I would like to hear your own opinion. If you have any question, if you have any suggestion for people out there who are suffering with pornography addiction, please, you can relate it, please. If you have a related story, if you have any question about porn addiction, if you have any question to ask me, please feel free to ask. Sagar Bensla. Please, did I mention the name correctly? Sagar Bensla. Can you please respond if that's the right pronunciation? Sagar Bensla, thank you for joining. If you're not joining, you are welcome, please. And if you have any question, please, you can ask me. Yes, I'm here to answer any question regarding my journey and how exercise have helped me to defeat pornography. If you have any question, if you have any suggestion, if you have anything you wish to say, please let me know. Okay. Okay, guys, the likes button are free, guys. If you like this video, please give it a like, share it with somebody, and if you are new to this channel, you can subscribe. Feel free to subscribe and join the community, because we're trying to build a community of people that will help change the world. We must fight this pornography addiction. We must fight the porn industry. This is a big fight, because billions of naira are spent, billions of dollars are spent every year in pushing those content out there. Billions are spent. So please, billions are spent. We must fight this fight. It is a battle, they are contending for our soul. Okay, Sagar. Okay. So Sagar, that's a win-win for you, because you've gotten your muzzle and not the hair. Or maybe you can get some facial cream that gives hair around your face. But I think that's on a lighter note. And I'm glad that you started working out, yes. Because the society needs strong men like you. Thank you very much, Sagar, for that input. So they're trying to make pornography easily accessible. In fact, they've made it easily accessible, that you can just, within a swipe of a finger, you can just go there, and then you are on a pornography site. So young men out there, you must be very careful. I'm not saying that the battle is over for me. Every day I see, in fact, I see keep getting, what do you call it? I see get tempted sometimes to watch it. Sometimes I see feel that you need to do more. Yes, because the battle is not over until it is over. Once you are alive, because up to date I still use internet. I still use the internet up to today. So sometimes some messages, some suggestions will just pop up out of nowhere. And if you don't have a strong will, a strong mind, I'm telling you, you might fall again. So it's not a one-time, I've defeated porn, then that's all. No. You need to keep your mind vigilant. You need to keep yourself abreast. You need to guard your heart. You need to be careful of the things you watch. You need to be careful of the people you surround yourself with. And then finally, you must begin to change and realign your values, your value system. What do you value the most? What do you value? You must ask yourself this question: what are my values? Because your core values determine how you live your life. If you want to know who a person really is to check his values. What does he value? So if your values are not in line with who you want to be in the future, then you need to change your values. Your values must align with who you want to be in the future. So Sagar, you said I'm totally depend on milk for protein. Is this okay? I'm a vegetarian. Sagar, that's quite a tough question, because let me tell you, I'm in Nigeria and I'm not fully, I love vegetables, right? But I'm not a vegetarian. I do eat meat, I do eat eggs, and I do combine them also with vegetables. I can't say there's no one size fit all for this answer, because your values, like I was talking about, and mine are different. You are a vegetarian, so I want to know why you are a vegetarian. Is it a choice you made, or some of us, we are influenced by our environment. So we grew up where everybody is a vegetarian, and then we just adopt it as our own, culture. Because I believe you are from India. Yes, from your name. I'm just guessing. But because I know that Indians don't eat meat, especially cow meat, beef, to be precise. So, but for me in Nigeria, I do eat meat, I do eat eggs, I do a combination of a lot of, protein. In fact, I do take milk not regularly. So, if you being a vegetarian is a choice you've made, I think you need to look for some supplements also to help you in that. But I don't use supplement. I'm natural. As you can see, I'm natural. I don't use any supplement. My only supplement are meat, eggs. That's it. And then good sleep. Yeah, you need to have time to rest so that you recover. Because if you don't rest, if you don't recover, bro, you are not going to go anywhere. You just keep pushing your muscles and then you are not growing. Okay, your whole generation was natural. That's good. And I will encourage you to keep going natural. That's one of my goals. One of my goals in life is to keep being natural. I want to see the extent I can go with being natural. I want to push myself to see to which extent can I go natural. So yes, bro, thumbs up. Your whole generation was natural, and just keep doing what you're doing, because you said you got like 20 kg of muscle mass, and that's massive, bro. That's massive. You try egg, but what? Eggs are good, bro. Eggs are very good source of protein, bro. You need to try eggs again. Except you're convinced. I don't try to tell people to do things because I do them. No. I don't try to tell people that. Just keep searching for what works for you. At some point, bro, I was a vegetarian. But then I realized that I was getting slimmer. I wasn't getting because I was slim already. So I started trying the vegetarian diet, but then it wasn't really, giving me that more. I needed to gain weight a little bit. So I changed, but I didn't leave vegetables, I still combine vegetables with meat and eggs. I think that's a more balanced approach to your diet. It's not that for you to be an extremist. You say, no, I'm just a vegetarian, I'm a carnivore, I'm on a carnivore diet. No. Please, if you can combine them, that would be very helpful. Okay. Since birth, you've been a vegetarian. Yeah, that can be very tough. To be honest with you, it becomes like, your second nature, or even your nature. So it becomes like your nature, and since you are a child, I can relate to that. You've been on a vegetarian diet for a very, very long time, yeah. And it can be very tough to try, even if, even the most nutritious meal, if you've not been used to it, I'm telling you, the moment you begin to try it for the first time, it's gonna seem weird. It's gonna seem very unnatural. So it's gonna be hard for you, bro. But just you can try it gradually. You don't need to go very hard on the first time. Just try little by little. You get there, bro. Okay. All right. Yeah, nuts are helpful. Nuts. I forget to add nuts in most especially my cashew nuts. In Nigeria we have a lot of cashew nuts, so I use a lot of cashew nuts. Every single day I consume some handful of cashew nuts, and it's very helpful. As for the dairy product, in a week I can take like maybe twice or thrice a week. Yeah, in a week. But the nuts, they are my go-to. I eat nuts and then I pair them most times with bananas. Yeah, pair them with bananas, and it's very helpful. It helps to build your muscle, and also helps with your skin. So trying nut too, yeah. So what can I know the type of nut you use, Sagar? Or do you also have banana shakes? Yeah. But for me, naturally, I don't like banana shakes. I don't like shakes. I love to eat everything raw. You get the point. So I'm not a fan of all these fruity smoothies and all that. No, I'm not a fan of it. But it's your choice, right? Banana shakes for you, that's good. Because from what I know about smoothies, they contain a lot of sugar. They make you to overconsume sugar. So I think it's better you take them in their natural form, in their natural state, without having to blend them. Blending them will make you overconsume. Blending them will make you, to take it in excess. So, but for me, I find it very comfortable taking my nuts and bananas naturally. I don't have to blend it or process it into something else. Oh, you are 17. Yeah, you still have time, bro, but take your exercise seriously. And I advise that you always have time to rest. Rest is very important. Rest is as important as the exercise you do itself. So don't go and overstretch yourself in the gym. Don't go and overstretch yourself trying to gain weight. Don't go too hard on it. Just take it gradually. All right, bro. Take it gradually and be patient with yourself. These things take time. It doesn't happen overnight, bro. You have to keep going. And I'm sure that with time, with the right consistency, you're going to be in shape. So workout has helped me a lot. Even though I never had money to go to the gym, but as you can see, I'm currently on a mountainside. So on this mountain, I can just decide to do a lot of exercises. Yeah, as you can see, I have a lot. I'm around nature right now, so I can do so much with just what I have here. You don't need to have this expensive gadget. No, you don't need to have it. If you have this mountain, like the one behind me, you can just use it. And before you know it, with the right consistency, you are going to get there. Start with what you have. You don't need expensive gears. All you need is the right approach. And make sure you watch what you eat. Don't eat junk. Don't eat junk. Make sure you stay natural and eat natural. Any food that is overly processed, try and avoid it. Yes. Any food that's overly processed, just try and avoid it. And make sure that you're having enough sleep. All right, Sankar, I think that will be all for today. See you in the next live video, guy. Thank you for tuning in. If you find this video very helpful, give it a like and share it. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, guys. I'll see you next time. Have a lovely day, lovely night, lovely evening, depending on where you're watching me from. But from here in Nigeria, it's the morning. Thank you, and God bless you all.